In the 1950s, black families across America, especially in the rural South, faced poverty, segregation, and limited access to resources. But they also had something powerful: tradition, ingenuity, and a deep, ancestral knowledge of how to make food work. These weren't meals made with money. They were meals made with memory, with grit, with love. Today, we're remembering 10 budget-friendly foods that fed black families in the 1950s. The ones that filled bellies, lifted spirits, and carried generations through hard times. Number 1, stewed chicken necks and backs. The parts that still had soul. You didn't buy chicken breasts. You bought what was left, necks and backs, the parts nobody wanted, the parts that still had flavor. They came cheap, packed in trays, wrapped in butcher paper, and they went straight into the pot, simmered low with onions, garlic, and maybe a bell pepper if you had one, seasoned with salt, pepper, and whatever spice your mama kept in the cabinet, cooked until the meat fell off the bone and the broth turned golden. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't fancy, but it was good, served over rice, or cornbread, or just eaten with a spoon. In the 1950s, this was dinner, and it tasted like home. Number 2, red beans and rice, the pot that never ran out. It started with dried beans, soaked overnight, simmered all day. Red beans, slow cooked with onions, garlic, and maybe a scrap of ham or sausage if you had it. Seasoned with cayenne, thyme, and bay leaf. Thickened until creamy. Served over rice, hot, fluffy, and cheap. It was a Monday meal in New Orleans, a weeknight staple in Georgia, a comfort food in every black kitchen that knew how to make a pot stretch. Kids ate it before school, parents ate it after work, and the leftovers got better every day. In the 1950s, red beans and rice wasn't just a dish, it was a strategy. Number 3, ash-baked sweet potatoes, the fire's hidden treasure. You didn't need an oven. You needed a fire and a few sweet potatoes wrapped in foil, or just tossed into the ashes, left to roast until the skin blackened and the inside turned soft, caramelized, and sweet, pulled from the coals. Split open, eaten with a spoon, or with butter, or with nothing at all. It was smoky. It was earthy. It was sacred. Kids ate them as snacks. Adults ate them as sides. And everyone knew that ash-baked sweet potatoes were better than anything from a stove. In the 1950s, this was how you made dessert from dirt and fire. Number 4, Molasses Cookies. The sweet that didn't need sugar. Sugar was expensive. Molasses was not. Thick, dark, sticky. It came in jars, and it made everything taste like warmth. Molasses cookies were made from flour, lard, baking soda, and a generous pour of molasses, spiced with cinnamon, ginger, and clove, rolled into balls, baked until cracked and chewy. They were sweet. They were spicy. They were comforting, served with milk or coffee, or just eaten warm from the pan. In the 1950s, molasses cookies were a treat, and they didn't cost more than a few cents. Number 5, Cabbage and Fatback Fry. The skillet that sizzled cabbage was cheap. Fatback was salty, fatty, and full of flavor. You'd slice the cabbage thin, fry the fatback until crisp. Add onions, garlic, and the cabbage. Sauté until tender and golden. It was smoky. It was savory. It was satisfying. Served with cornbread or rice, or just eaten straight from the pan. The smell filled the house. The steam fogged the windows, and the taste lingered long after the plates were cleared. In the 1950s, this was soul food, and it didn't come from a recipe, it came from instinct. Number 6, stewed squirrel with dumplings. The hunt that fed the family. You didn't buy meat. You hunted it. Squirrel was lean, gamey, and free, cleaned carefully, simmered slowly, stewed with onions, carrots, and herbs, thickened with flour, topped with dumplings, soft, doughy, and filling. It was rustic. It was rich. It was real, served on Sundays, or after a good hunt, or when there was nothing else in the house. In the 1950s, stewed squirrel wasn't strange. It was survival. Number 7, cowpea and collard stew. the bowl that held tradition. Cowpeas were hearty. Collards were strong. Together, they made a stew that fed generations, simmered with onions, garlic, and smoked meat, seasoned with vinegar, pepper, and love. Cooked until tender, served with cornbread or rice, it was earthy. It was nourishing. It was sacred, passed down from elders, cooked in cast iron, eaten with reverence. In the 1950s, cowpea and collard stew was more than food. It was heritage. Number 8. Turnip greens with cornmeal dumplings. The pot that stretched. Turnip greens were bitter, but they were free, pulled from gardens, bought for pennies, boiled with onions, garlic, and fatback. Simmered until tender, topped with cornmeal dumplings, dropped by spoonfuls, steamed until soft. It was filling. It was frugal. It was flavorful, served with hot sauce or vinegar, or just eaten with a spoon. In the 1950s, this was how you made a pot stretch and how you made greens feel like a feast. Number 9. Braised oxtails with gravy. The bones that became a banquet. Oxtails were cheap, but they were rich in flavor, in fat, in tradition, braised low and slow. With onions, garlic, and herbs, simmered until the meat fell off the bone, thickened into gravy. Served over rice, mashed potatoes, or grits, it was tender. It was luxurious. It was love cooked on special occasions, or when the butcher had a deal, or when you wanted to make something feel fancy. In the 1950s, oxtails were a poor man's prime rib, and they tasted like celebration. Number 10. Molasses cornmeal porridge. The bowl that started the day. Cornmeal was cheap. Molasses was sweet. Together they made breakfast, boiled into a thick porridge, sweetened with molasses, spiced with cinnamon or nutmeg, served hot, in bowls, in mugs, in memories. It was sticky. It was hearty. It was comforting. Kids ate it before school, parents ate it before work, and everyone knew it was better than boxed cereal. In the 1950s, molasses cornmeal porridge was how you started the day and how you kept going. The foods that remember. These weren't just meals. They were memories. They were proof that poverty couldn't erase pride. Black families in the 1950s cooked with what they had, and what they had was enough. Stewed chicken necks, ash-baked sweet potatoes, molasses cookies, braised oxtails, each dish told a story of struggle, of survival, of love. Drop a comment. Which dish did you grow up with? Which one would you try?